everyone, this is Nibiru Watcher, September 22nd, 2016. And some of you have seen this before, but I got to keep bringing it up to show you what you're going to see next. This was a time-lapse video over Australia. So let's watch this time-lapse, and I'll show you the lenses that are fixed in space as the sun sets. Because what you're going to see next will make more sense when you see. I want you to see how the sun, the object back here, is refocusing the light through a series of these lenses. You can see smaller lenses up here and bigger lenses up here, and you can even see the oscillation between this light as it keeps oscillating back and forth. See all the lenses in the top up here. Okay, I had a video on this. Now that we've established the fact there are lenses in space, refocusing the light, changing the convergence or the focal point of the object behind it so you don't see it. Next, I want to show you what we're seeing here. Wow. So I just showed this last night. This thing is still approaching us. Watch this thing in time lapse as this thing approaches. And I want you to keep your eyes right here. Actually, right here. Okay, one frame at a time. Let's just take our time with this one. And I believe what we're looking at here is a projection or the focal point of this actual planet back here. Okay, you see this? Zoom in on that extra circle there. And as the focal point changes, let's watch the next one. That is pretty unreal. Let's zoom on that one. Now, how do you explain that? I believe that this lens system here changes the focal point and of the actual object on the other side of the lens so that it looks like it's on the inside of the clouds. And it's bending the light around the planet and allows us to see the background of what's on the other side of the lens. So you kind of look like you're looking through it. And as this object is getting so close, this lens system isn't going to work anymore, especially when the debris from this object smashes all the lenses, and then people are really going to freak out. Yeah, because they will break when there's trillions of stones pound these things. Then they're going to see this thing as it really is. So I believe it's a hologram in the sense that the object's actually not there, but it's projecting it to be at that spot or the convergent point of the lens while the actual object is still there. Look at that. Let's look at the next frame. We can still see the evidence, I believe, to be the true position. So this is like acting like a projector. But look at that thing. It's like the stripes. And look how the light's overreacting and charging with this thing too. Every time this thing is falling up, it charges up all the devices, electronic. And I'm hearing reports from all around the world that street lights and everything else, so I'm going to start looking for more of the ultraviolet light. By the way, there's two types of light that are key here. You get the plasma light, which is ultraviolet coming from the arc, and you also get the infrared light coming from the heated planet Nibiru. Both are invisible to the eye. Remember when you used to go to the nightclub, you put that snap in your hand, you can only see with the ultraviolet light? That's what this is with the plasma and the infrared light. So both outside their eye spectrum, near the spectrum, just outside the range of our eye visible light. And let's look at the next one. What we saw. And look at this thing as let's just zoom in on that one. Again, here we have the rounded lens here in the center of the screen. And then lining up, projecting an image projection like a hologram, what appears to be inside our atmosphere, still showing normal clouds on the other side. You think it's in our atmosphere, but it's not. It's a projection, because that's what these lenses do. It projects and bends the light. But it can only bend for so long before we start seeing it. And that's what makes it so difficult to explain why we see stars through the object, because that's part of the light. That's how light bends around it. Next frame. And here we continue to see this, what I believe, the more actual position. This thing's probably low on the horizon now, but it's projecting it up in the sky, just like we saw. That would be the position. So the direction of the camera, the Nibiru would be down here, and this would be like the lens, and we're seeing it through here. It's very hard to kind of explain how light bends. You just got to play with it yourself. And now in this shot, the shadow is so dark it can't even bend the light anymore, and it appears that look how dark the plasma is when it hits the surface of the Earth, and I believe to be reacting between these two poles. And there's other electrical phenomenon here also. Keep in mind that the magnetic field is 8 AU in the radius of this planet. 8 AU. An AU is 93,000 miles times 8. That's how big the magnetic field is emanating from this Nibiru planet. And magnetic fields, when it passes through any kind of conductor, it will create voltage. And when this thing gets close enough, it will create plasma craters like we have in the Sahara Desert and on Mars when it passed in times past. So this thing is coming quickly straight at us, and I will look in the archives of a little more plasma evidence from my last video that I didn't show, more in the archives. So let's just run a little time lapse here. We can keep watching. Look at how wide this plasma tail is. Folks, it's getting bigger, it's changing colors, it moves. Nothing else can explain it. Yeah, what is that? Kind of looks like a black widow spider, but I actually think it's still Nibiru. It's just the way the tail moved. It just happened to look like a spider. And, oh yeah, one more thing I want to show you. This is the feature of the camera. So the camera is up in this box. Okay, so if there's going to be a spider, where's it going to sit? It has to be right on top of it. There's nothing in front of it. There are no trees. It's not going to be in a nest. Okay, take a nice hard look at that. Where's the spider going to sit? What would it look like if you had a spider on that lens? Man, it would be dark and in your face and highly detailed. Okay, there's nothing else. It's just the open sea out there. This is it, son of a box. A Canon EOS 1100. Show me where that spider's going to be on that one. And again, if it was on the lens, we've showed pictures of an actual spider on a lens. And trust me, this isn't it. So let me okay, so I was going to show you something, but I having technical difficulties. So I'm going to leave you with this picture. I'm going to zoom in on this shot one more time. This is absolutely unbelievable. Remember that light pattern I brought up? You see the 3, 1, 2, 3, just like the lenses we saw, but this thing is obviously on the side and projecting it at a holographic image in front of us, which gives it appearance of being in front of the clouds. Yeah, so you'll see clouds behind it. And you're like, that's where all the hecklers come in. And that's where people get confused, because they don't understand this lens system here and how it's projecting basically holograms. and orbs that follows the sun, and just really bizarre stuff that you can catch on camera. You got to keep in mind that you're looking through a lens. That's move the convergence point away from you. Anyways, thank you for watching. Please like and share and copy this video.